Hey guys, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and it's time for another one-take, unedited unboxing and review video. And yes, it is another Firefly guitar. So as you saw there, I've got my audio running, we've got the camera running, and we are not going to cut, we are not going to change angles or anything like that until we get to the end of the review. That way, you guys know I'm not doing any special off-camera setup work or editing or anything like that to make the guitar seem like something else than it really is. So, what guitar do we have here? Well, this is, we'll see, but this might be one of the coolest new models from Firefly, especially if you're into the metal guitars, right? Firefly has been doing a ton of these different guitars that are loosely based, and sometimes not so loosely based, on guitars that were played by famous musicians, right? And in the past, I've checked out some of the Eddie Van Halen influenced guitars with the red and black and white stripes on them. And they've got several other models. They did like a bucket head inspired model. And the one today is, I think, obviously a Dimebag Darrell from Pantera inspired model. But what's cool about this is, one, the price, $239, 240 bucks for this guitar. It's got a Floyd Rose bridge on it, which we're going to check out. But the other thing is that Firefly, I think, has done a little bit more work to make this model more of their own and less of a direct copy from like a Dean Dimebag Darrell ML body guitar or something like that. So we're going to unbox it, we're going to check it out, and then we're going to plug it in and play it. And also, guys, I'm going to try and make this one a little bit more in-depth than some of the other unboxing videos that I've done. So we've got the scale, we're going to weigh it. Also, I've got my multimeter out here, and we're going to measure the pickups, the resistance of the pickups, see how hot they are, some things like that. So let's go ahead and get right into this. And of course, guys, I always like to mention at this point, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool, new, affordable guitars, and also staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay? All right, thank you. So, let's get this open. And yeah, it's a, if you guys are familiar with the ML kind of an X-shape body style, obviously you can see how big this box is here. It's a big box because it's a big guitar. So I'm going to open both ends and we can slide out the styrofoam insert that's in the cardboard. Okay, and then we'll get it open. Now the other thing I want to mention here, whoop, almost took out my ceiling there. The other thing I want to mention is that there are some other versions of this guitar. They've got one which has a triple pickups, like a triple covered humbucker version, which looks really cool, I should say. And this one is Floyd Rose equipped, 2 humbuckers, but they've got, I think, 2 or 3 or 4 different versions of this, different finishes, pickup arrangements, different bridges, things like that. They do these different variations on. So if you don't like this one, that's okay. Still go and check out the Guitars Garden website, which is where these guitars are sold, and just see what other versions they have there, what other stuff they have. The other thing I want to mention is that a while back, I did a video on a crazy thing, the fact that there's a scam going around with these Firefly guitars, and that is, even though Firefly is a budget-friendly Chinese guitar manufacturing company, there's actually, if you go to AliExpress, there are other companies that are like counterfeiting the Firefly guitars, which is really bizarre. Usually when you get a counterfeit, it's like of a guitar that costs thousands of dollars. And there's a bunch of crazy things about it. Sometimes the counterfeit versions are even more expensive than the real ones. The other thing is that the big problem, I should say, is just a lot of people don't realize that it's not the same guitar, even though it looks the same and the price might be similar. The manufacturing is different, and the big thing is that you're not really going to get the same guitar. And so if you order the guitar, if you order a guitar from AliExpress, it might look kind of similar in terms of the finish and the body shape, but it's not going to have like the rounded ball-end stainless steel frets or the roasted woods or the locking tuners or some of the other cool features that Firefly is doing today. So, okay, get my hair out of the way here. Let's open this up. Should I cut? I got one more to cut here. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. And let's take this out here. Make sure nothing is damaged. It's looking really nice, gotta say. Oh, yeah. Oh, cool finish on this. Nice binding. The binding looks great. Okay, and our cable, all that stuff. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is a cool guitar. Guys, the prices on these guitars are absolutely nuts. Like I said, $240. Now that might be a sale price. If you go there, if you go to the website at a different time, maybe you might look at $279 or $280, something like that. A little bit more expensive. I think that's what some of the other models, other versions are going for, but always under $300. Look at that. That's a lot of guitar for under 300 bucks. Some cool things here. It's got a satin finish all over the guitar. It has the open pore or open grain finish on the front here of the body, so you can feel the texture of the wood grain. Really cool. It's got a multi-ply binding. Holy smokes, this is like a 7-ply binding here on the front of the body. 2 humbuckers. These are Alnico humbuckers. 3-way toggle switch. We'll test these pickups out a little bit later in the video. And then I think we've got a single volume and 2 tones. Output jack here on the surface of the body. And then a Floyd Rose branded bridge. A lot of people have been talking about these bridges lately. This is, it says Floyd Rose on it. These are the same bridges that come on the entry-level Fender. Like, when I say Fender, I'm also talking about Squier and Jackson and all that stuff. Same bridge that you'd get on like a JS32 series Jackson, and the same bridge that you get on like the SBS guitars from Guitar Fetish, which I've checked out a lot. So it's a legitimate Floyd Rose bridge. That being said, it's kind of the lowest level of the bridges. You've got this one, then you've got a Floyd Rose Special, then the Floyd Rose 1000 series, and then the original Floyd Rose. So we'll tune it up, and we'll see how it works out. Of course, you got your locking nut up here. This is spec-wise, I know it's a mahogany body, mahogany set neck, and then a rosewood fretboard, 24 frets, and these are the rounded ball end stainless steel frets with nice block abalone inlays. Yeah, very nice. Now there's a very minor thing here about the inlays that I'm noticing. And to let you guys know, the way I'm going to do this video is I'm going to do all this, one take, unedited stuff. We'll plug it in, we'll play it, we'll listen to it. At the end of the video, then I will cut the video and I'll edit in some close-ups of all of the little details and everything. But that's going to be at the end of the video, after I've plugged it in and played it and all that stuff. So, like I was saying, there's something kind of interesting about these abalone inlays here. Abalone is a very, very thin material. And so the way they do these inlays is they'll take the actual abalone material and they'll put it in with some resin, like clear resin, to kind of fill up the space where the inlay goes. And what's interesting is what they've done here is it looks to me like they cut the shape out on the fretboard for the inlay. They inlaid the abalone and then they filled over the top with resin. So you can actually see the abalone is kind of sitting deeper into the fretboard. Now, I don't think that makes much difference as far as how it feels or anything like that, but it actually, the look of the abalone is a little bit worse, I would argue, because of that. Because you have the resin over the top of the abalone, it kind of cuts down on the reflective nature of the abalone, which is what makes it so beautiful. So interesting manufacturing choice there. Maybe there's some, reason in the factory that they did it that way or something like that. But it's just worth pointing out. Okay, now the other stuff we should really look at here is the shape of the headstock. You see that? So this is an asymmetrical headstock. So it's kind of like the Dean Stealth series, but those were symmetrical. And so what they've done is they've shortened this point here. This one's higher, and they put that spike in the middle. And then same thing on the body. They put these little jog right there in the body. And this is just, again, like I said before, this is just for Firefly to distinguish their model from the model that it's inspired by, which I think in this case, certainly the body shape would be like a Dean ML body shape. But they put these in here to make it, to make it a little bit different. And of course it says Firefly on the headstock, right? So nobody's going to confuse this with a Dean guitar or anything like that. Okay, now let's check out a few other things here. How heavy is this? It's a big guitar, guys. How much does this weigh? A little bit tricky to get this set up here. I'm going to hook it on a tuner. I think the tuner can take the weight. There we go. See if you can get that on camera. 8.12. So a little over 8 pounds, which, yeah, certainly not a light guitar, but compared to other guitars, traditional Les Paul or something, it's not even that heavy. Okay, so let me do this pickup test here, actually before we plug it in. So I just started doing this recently and I don't want to forget it. Okay guys, I've got my, hey, what do I got here? Got some styrofoam on me, get off. So I've got my multimeter here. We're going to check the impedance of the pickups. So let's go, this should be the bridge pickup here. We're going to go all the way up on the volume. And what do we got here? 14.97 kilo ohms, 15K. That is a hot pickup. Okay, so that was the bridge pickup here. Let's switch to the neck pickup, neck only. And let's see what we've got here. This looks like, yeah, this is not nearly as hot. About 8.95 I'm getting here. Let's check that again. Make sure I'm not screwing this up here. Okay. 8.95. So about 15K on the bridge, 9K in the neck position there. So yeah, that should be, and man, I mean, we're going to tune this up and then the bridge will move a little bit, so it's going to change the action, but a nice low action, and the pickups are fairly close to the strings also. So now, let's get it plugged in. And guys, just bear with me here. This is a Floyd Rose style bridge. It's going to take a little bit to tune, but we want to see that, right? How difficult is it to get in tune? And of course, the other thing I'm going to need is the whammy bar, which should be in here. There it is. Whammy bar. And we're going to need the Allen wrenches. Where is it there? 3 Allen wrenches here. One for the clamps on the nut, one for the saddles, and one for the truss rod. Okay, so I'm going to install the arm. Okay. Ah, pretty good fit there. That's nice. And let's plug this sucker in here. Fair warning to headphone users. There we go. Okay. Should have had a pick ready to go. Okay, guys, so let's see if we can get this thing in tune. And let me change my camera angle slightly here so we can get a little bit more of the guitar. There we go. Okay, obviously not in tune. So let's... Oh, I got the wrong wrench here. Let's open these up and see if we can get this thing tuned up. I've got my tuner down here on the amplifier behind me. All right. Let's see what we can do. Tuning the low strings sharp because I'm anticipating that they're going to come down. Nice smooth tuners, I can tell you right now. Also, because this headstock is so big, there's a lot of room for the tuners. So it's kind of a nice guitar to tune because the tuners are not too close together, they're not too cramped. Okay, that E's coming right in. See how our bridge is doing. Yeah, the bridge is coming up. Okay, so let's lock these suckers down and we're going to use the fine tuners the rest of the way. Uh-oh, well, this clamp is a little funny here. Okay, wasn't seated quite right. There we go. I hear a chicken clucking outside. I don't know if that's coming through the camera. It's not my chicken, I'll tell you that. Okay. Here we go. Always the G string. Almost there. definitely tell these are hot pickups. That was all in the bridge pickup. Let's try the neck. And let's try the middle position here. Then we'll do a little bit of clean stuff. Okay, that was the middle. Yeah, I'm never a big fan of the middle position, but you know. So one thing is, you know, if you're getting this to play like your Pantera riffs and stuff, we got to be able to do some nice pig squeals. And the harmonics are a little bit difficult to grab. I almost played a Badlands riff there. Yeah, you can get the harmonics, but yeah, let's try some whammy stuff now. I should have stretched the strings a little bit here. So the low E went a little bit flat. The G. Oh, hello. So after the whammy use, our strings did get a little wonky there. Okay, so in my experience, these bridges, I'm getting the styrofoam all over me. In my experience, these bridges are okay. They usually work pretty well, but when you first get one of these, of course, when you first tune it up, you got to stretch the strings, which I didn't do, to really get it to kind of settle. One nice thing about these, though, is as long as you have your springs set up and the bridge is level, or parallel to the body, I should say, as long as you have that set up properly, they do always return to pretty much the same pitch once you've stretched the strings and let them settle in and that kind of stuff. Now, let's switch over to a clean tone here. And that is not loud enough here. Hold on a second. What do I do here? Hold on, what's going on? Oh, that was stupid. Had the volume down. Okay, there we go. That's on the neck. Okay, man, having a bad hair today. Having a bad hair today. Hair day. Can't speak either. Okay, let's do some clean with the bridge. Oh, nice twang there. Pick a little closer to the pickup. Okay, not bad. You know what? Let's go back to the high gain stuff, and I really want to test. Let's really test the bridge, right? Let's see. Let's see how much torture this thing can really take you. Now, keep in mind, again, I have not stretched these strings. Much better. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Let me tilt this back up here so I'm not cutting my head off all the time. Okay, so I gotta say, $240 for this guitar right here. Ugh, guys, I can't get over how cool of a guitar you can get for under $300. Firefly has really kind of led the charge on this in a lot of ways, and I love the fact that they're doing all of these artist-inspired guitars, and I love it even more that they're taking extra steps to not do just a one-to-one copy of like an original guitar or something, by making these little changes to the body and the headstock. Not only do they protect themselves legally, but they also, you know, they enable the guitar player who buys the new version of the guitar to, you know, feel a little bit more like, yeah, I'm doing my own thing. I'm not just copying an artist that came before me, something like that. So I really like that. And guys, again, at the end of the video, I'll give you close-ups and all this stuff. And of course, I'm going to have a link down in the video description below to the Guitarist Garden website, where you can see all of the different versions of these guitars that they have on there. But this one, I gotta say, is pretty freaking cool. I love the fact that it's got a super hot bridge pickup. Once the strings kind of settle in, the bridge works pretty well. You heard it in the beginning. First time I used it, it wasn't so good, but the second and third time I did the whammy stuff, it was pretty solid. Now, last thing I'll say about this bridge here is on a lot of these less expensive Floyd Rose style bridges, the arm has a tendency to loosen up as you use it. And I always like an arm that is like this, where you move it and it stays in the position. You put it in. Some of them, though, you can never really get them all the way tight, and they swing around like that. It has kind of a flaccid feel to it, and it's embarrassing, really. So yeah, this one so far is pretty good. If you do get a bridge like this, though, and you have trouble with the arm, it's very easy to swap out the arm. You can get a nice made in Germany Schaller arm that will bolt right in here, and it's about $20 or so on eBay. I'll have a link for that in the video description as well. If you have trouble with that, it's a very easy fix. But, oh man, how cool is this, guys? Look at this guitar. It's insane how cool these are. Yeah, Firefly honestly just keeps getting better and better all the time, and I love the fact that, you know, they're not just playing it safe like so many of these other companies, where it's just like, oh, here's our new version of the Strat, here's our new version of a traditional Tele, right? You know, give us something cool, give us something that really, you know, has some stage presence, right? This guitar definitely has that. So yeah, very cool. Okay, guys, let me know what you think of this down in the video description below. Sorry, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And in the video description, I will have a link to the guitar. I will have a link to the Boss IR200 amp and cabinet simulator that I was using for the demo. Plus just everything else I was talking about in the video. There will be links down there. Look for that. My social media, my YouTube online course, everything. But yeah, let me know what you think of this. The big question I want to ask you guys is, do you like the little changes, you know, changes to the headstock and the body? Do you like those changes? Do you want something that's more of a one-to-one copy of like a Dean ML or a guitar that was played by Dimebag Darrell? Or do you like the fact that it's a little bit different? Let me know down in the comment section below. Okay, guys, thanks a ton for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon.